you're a self-employed electrician and you're working on day rates and you don't know what you should be charging or how much money you're actually making, I've built a free tool for you that's going to show you exactly how much you're making. What this does is tells you to a high degree of accuracy, this is how much money you're going to end up with in your bank. And that is the number that really matters, your take-home pay. It's the money that ends up in your bank after your tax liabilities that affects the quality of life that you're getting. The first thing we have to do is be very realistic about how many working days we have available to us on the tools. So how many days a week do you want to work? For you to have a good lifestyle, for you to be a happy person, do you want to be working on the weekends? Probably not, right? So you want to work 5 days a week. You can change that. How many days holiday do you want a year? The average UK employed electrician gets their 5 weeks holiday, so 20 days, and then 8 days bank holiday, 28 days total. Now this is really important. Do you, as a self-employed electrician, want to be working in the evenings and weekends, dealing with the admin, dealing with your paperwork? Probably not, and you shouldn't be. So you need to account for that time in your working week, right? And I think you should put a day aside for admin, responding to quotes, securing work, certificates, training, etc. You can change that to half a day or whatever. But if you don't account for that, you're going to be working in the weekends and evenings. And then how many sick days? Okay, I've put 0 here. What this then tells us is, well, how many days have you got available on the tools? So we've got to get clear on that first. In this scenario, 180 days. Now, what are your fixed overheads to run the business? How much does it cost you to own a van, to run a van, to pay for a website, to do Google, all that jazz? What does all that stuff cost you? I've assumed, because I work with quite a few electricians, it's probably gonna be around 10 grand. And then what this tells us, very black and white, is if you're doing this per day, this is what you'll end up with in your bank. Now, remember, this assumes that you can secure enough of this work to fill these days, which is another challenge as well. But if you're doing 180 days on the tools and you're charging £200 a day, you will gross £26,000 a year after your fixed overheads. That will incur a £2,686 tax bill, around £1,300 national insurance. I've averaged it out at 5%. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, depending on your bracket, which means you will take home 23 grand a year or £1,943 a month. The average UK electrician employed takes about 45 grand. So they'll end up with about 3 grand in their bank. For you to achieve that at 180 days on the tools, you need to be charging £300 a day and get 180 days worth of work to end up with £3,143 in your bank. This can scale up and down. You can have a look over here. The number that really matters is what do you end up with in your bank. So if you're not clear on what your numbers are, what your day rate should be, just comment day rate below and I'll send you the sheet so that you can pick it apart and figure out your numbers without having to do all of the maths.